welcome. The show is Keeping Connected with Trevor Crow. I am Trevor Crow, and this is the After Hours show. Tonight we're at Fairfield Theater Company talking about interesting relationship questions, thorny, a little provocative, and we have a panel of very smart, articulate people here. I've got sitting next to me David Bravo, Jesse, Brianna, Brad, Gail, and Scott. So thank you everybody for being with us tonight, and we'll jump right into it. Okay. In past relationships, what are the most important things you have learned?
Okay, this is for everyone. Have a hitman on speed dial. That's what
Hitman on speed dial?
That is what I've learned.
Wow.
Okay, this was bad. This is a bad breakup, I can tell. Jesse?
A few.
Is that a euphemism, hitman, or
No.
just a hitman?
Don't kill your ex-partners, please. Okay,
Have
Jesse.
my card back?
I think for me, it's I've only been in 2 relationships, but my big thing is you can't expect the other person to change. Now, I'm not talking about like put their socks away in their drawer. I'm talking about adjust to your complete lifestyle or change who they are unless they want to. You can't change them. They have to want to change themselves in order to make that relationship.
Do you find yourself sort of attracted to the sort of types that need help, or maybe a touch damage that you feel like maybe you could fix them?
I think as a woman, sometimes I think women, it might just be me, but I think as a woman, I kind of hope that there might be a little bit something in them that might like adjust to my lifestyle or change a little bit. Whereas I don't know if it's different for men. Maybe they're just, this is me and that's it, and I'm never changing. I don't know.
So, gentlemen, what do you think, Brad?
I think the one thing that I have learned in a past relationship is never get into a relationship with someone who hates the things you love the most about yourself.
Ooh, very good point.
I like
Hates
that.
the things you love most. You do want
And
someone
always
who
get
adores
into-
you, and absolutely, that's
And
great
always
advice.
get into a relationship with someone who loves the things you love about yourself.
Very healthy. I like that. I like it. Scott?
Yeah, Trevor, I'd have to agree with that, but I would say that over a long-term relationship, as a marriage that goes on for 24 years, during that time frame of a marriage, there are many points of change during those relationships, and you can outgrow each other, and you can change and go in different directions. And so I've seen that. I've had relationships prior to getting married. I was married, divorced. And in going through that 24 years of marriage, it's work in progress.
And so you became more distant over time. You just had
Absolutely,
different interests and
absolutely.
just
We
didn't.
outgrew each other. Even though we were right for each other when we first got married,
It's very sad.
things changed.
Uh-huh.
And that's just life.
So that's a lesson. Got it, Gail?
Well, when you introduced our panel tonight, you introduced us all as very smart. And society places such an emphasis on us being smart and being well educated. I think what I've learned is you don't have to be so smart. That it's less important to be right and more important to be in relationship.
I like
Right.
that, because a lot of times I found myself doing that, which is you fight to the death and then all of a sudden you realize, what did I just win? Absolutely nothing. I ruined the relationship.
You can be right or you can be happy.
I like that.
So that's the most important thing I think I've learned.
So,
David?
Well, except for me, I'll meet a woman and it's like, oh, you play the piano, you're so sensitive and creative. And then like 8 months later, oh, you're so sensitive, you play the piano.
Stop playing the piano!
So the
like,
very
all right.
thing she loved about you, she's all of a sudden pissed off.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So that comes back to another one, I think, is you have to have a lot in common. I mean, maybe a little bit is okay, but you have to have something in common. You have to at least enjoy art or something along music.
Sex is good.
But if you only have sex, could you be in a relationship where the sex is amazing and that's it?
Yeah.
And nothing else,
That'll
you have
die
nothing else in
eventually.
common, that's it.
That would work.
A relationship, full-time relationship though, I'm talking full-time, not just,
David's
once in a
supportive
while.
of that, yes.
But it's the one relationship where that is different from every other relationship. So
But
very
but
important.
24/7 you're together all the time, let's say, right? You're always together,
That's
and
too
that's
long.
the only thing that you have in common. I don't know if
That's
would
hard
work.
to sustain that.
You
Although
work at
there are
7-Eleven or?
no, there are couples that are in business together and are very successful and are married, and that is in a difficult situation, but can work certainly. Mom and pops were married couples for generations. But that being said, so what are the best things that you took away from past relationships? We've heard some maybe a little negative, but what are the good things?
Well, I'd say for me, despite the lack of it, well, not even the lack of it, but I'd say trust. Like, you got to take away trust. I've had 2 very failed relationships so far, and they ended in cheating, both of them, and it wasn't me. But nonetheless, next time I get into a relationship, I hope that I'll be able at that point to trust the person I'm with. Otherwise, there's no good foundation. I mean, I'm blessed. I look at my parents. They've been married almost 27 years.
Wow.
From the moment they met each other when my mother was 12 and my dad was 14, they knew.
Ah.
So I've had a beautiful example
Yeah.
of what it should be, and I hope that someday I find that as well. I'd say that's the best advice, is from just watching my parents.
Very helpful.
alone.
I love that message. And yes, I think the best, or the relationships that really can last the ages, really have to start in a trusting place. Absolutely. Jesse, any positives?
I think experiences, even though some of my last relationship didn't go far, I learned a lot of new things that I didn't even think I would like. I tried new things, and I was really excited about them. Just going to different places and experiencing different things where those are still important to me, and I'm glad that I did those. So.
Yeah, and that's a
The
very good point.
experiences.
And I think that some of the science today is showing the couples that do last that 60, 70 years, they call it scaffolding. Each one has their own interests, and they bring that interest and passion and sort of learning and transformative stuff to the relationship, and the other spouse or the other partner enjoys learning it and feels like, oh, that just enhanced my life experience as well. So as a couple, you're sort of growing and changing and moving together rather than growing apart, as Scott was talking about. So yeah, I think that's a really cool thing.
Don't knock codependency.
Well,
Just kidding.
Nobody's codependent. But yeah, no, I mean, the idea is that you can be both an individual and strong and happy and centered and secure in yourself, but also share it with your partner, and your partner is sincerely interested in what you do and is learning, like Jessie was saying, that was a meaningful, helpful thing for her. How about you, Gail?
I think the most important ingredient for me that I've learned is that L word, but it's like.
Like?
It's like.
Okay.
I think it's really important that we like each other, that we like to spend our time together, that we, share hobbies. I have plenty of girlfriends, and call them up and gossip and this and that. But I love that I like my man, and that he's the one I want. When something great happens in my day, I want to call him.
You want to call him up?
When something
Yeah.
awful happens, he's the one I want to call.
Right.
And that we generally just could spend several days together without any interference from anyone else. I like to like my guy.
I like that.
I think that's a really important
It's a very
ingredient.
important ingredient.
I've been
Brad?
in a 17-year relationship,
Uh-huh.
and it's definitely an L word, but we laugh every single day.
That's
Really,
That's
yep.
good.
And no matter what's going on, even when times have gotten really, really tough, there's never a day that we haven't found something to laugh about, and that's for me the key.
You would think it would be such a basic, and I think many of us forget that joyful playfulness is so important in all of our relationships, including with our kids, but also our partner. And we do. Things get grim, and you forget to laugh and just feel light and fun, and I think that's a really good piece of advice. Scott, any kind of final thought on what a good positive takeaway is in a relationship?
I think for me, move on and move on to a new relationship and a new beginning. That's where in my
Well, there was a pretty woman sitting next to her in the
yeah, there was a lovely woman sitting next to me out there. But it is a point to move on, and I took quickly. I took about 3 years to kind of regather myself and pull myself together and think about what I really want and what needs to change in my life to make something successful in my next steps.
So really good messages here. I mean, there's some takeaways for positives on relationships, which is we can learn a lot. I loved what Brad started out with, you want to be with a person that loves the things that you love about yourself best, because that person really is going to support you and help you grow. And when we don't have that, we tend to grow apart, as Scott was saying. And yes, if we do end up apart, we have to transform. We have to move into a different direction, hopefully feel hope and find somebody who is really there for you. And like Gail is saying, just having just enjoying each other's company, just being able to call each other up and say, this really great thing happened, or maybe something not so great happened. And as Jessie mentioned, having somebody that introduces you to things that maybe you wouldn't have tried, and it was really fun and exciting, and that was something that you might take away the rest of your life and just enjoy. So lots of really good messages. We talk about quirky, interesting, thorny issues here. The show is Keeping Connected with Trevor Crowe, and you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel because you'll hear more, and we'd like to hear from you. So like us on Facebook. We want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, and more questions because we will discuss them right up here, and we want to hear from you soon. So stay tuned, stay connected, and we'll be right back.